So in short, the work can be classified into three types. Much of the work done in the organizations add no value to the products or services provided to the customers. So what are the three types of work? One is pure waste, one is value added, and another is other necessary work. Sometimes we also refer to them as essential non-value added activities. So again, to summarize, for value added work, customer is willing to pay for it. It is physically changing or altering the product or service, and it is done right the first time. The value enabling works are those work which needs to be done. It is necessary to achieve the process, and customers do not want to pay for it. Customers would say, so what? But it might be required by the government. Like for example, audits. Financial audits is just one example which falls into this category of essential non-value added work. And the third category is waste, also known as muda. Muda in Japanese. There are 7 types of wastes. And waste, the definition of waste is that it should not be done, it is not at all adding any value to the process, and also customer is not willing to pay for that. It can be either eliminated or reduced. Let us see the 7 types of wastes. Why is it important to do everything right the first time? Because if you are committing a mistake or committing an error and then again rectifying it, it is not going to help you at all. So anything, as I told you, anything starting with re is considered as waste. There is a hidden factory in every organization. This hidden factory is processing a lot of rework. Means we commit mistakes, we commit errors, and then after committing the mistakes and errors, then we try to rectify them. All these activities are classified as wastes, and we should try to reduce them as much as possible. These hidden factories are present in both service industries and manufacturing industries. Let us look at the major categories of waste, also known as TIMWOOD, Timwood. Sometimes if you interchange that, you can also write it as downtime, or you can also write it as ISWIMTOO, ISWIMTOO. So whatever you prefer, you can use that acronym. So here we have listed down all the 7 wastes: the transportation, inventory, motion, waiting, correction or defects, overproduction and overprocessing. There is one more category added as the 8th waste, and that is known as waste of intellect or waste of intelligence. So we'll talk about that as well. Waste is found in every process, everywhere, at every level of the organization. It is found in management systems, it is found in communications, it is found in human resources, finance, operations, projects, procedures, everywhere. You should develop an eye for a waste. You should develop an eye to identify the waste. So when you are moving around in your organization, your eyes should be accustomed, your eyes should be trained to look for wastes. So these are the 7 wastes. The first one is defects or correction. It is most obvious of the wastes. If it is not done right the first time, waste is created, like scrap, rework, repair, etc. Requires extra processing, and it reduces the capacity, permeates all areas of the enterprise, including operations, maintenance, engineering, management, administration, support functions, etc. Everywhere. There are no exceptions. You can mention some of the examples. Some of the examples could be incorrect vendor information, design errors, wrong communication, incorrect time or date, wrong calculations, quality defects, off specification of the product, etc. The other type of waste is overproduction. Producing more than what is required. Producing more than the demand from the customer. Production done faster than needed to meet the customer demand is overproduction. Material or product is overproduced to cover problems such as equipment efficiencies, process coordination, and fear of future material or part shortages. World-class practices like best practices means producing what is needed, when it is needed, and in the amount that is needed. So you should produce just in time the quantity which is needed by the customer. How can we do that? I will take an example at a later stage. Overproduction must be eliminated to be able to control variation in the process. Some of the examples in your area could be, well, I had a great day, I beat the plan. Means I'm ahead of the plan. No, sometimes this is not essential. It is not required. Maybe you are spending a lot of resources of the organizations to beat the plan. Another example is over-ordering to be on the safer side. Definitely, this is resulting in a lot of inventory. A lot of money is getting stuck of the organization in the inventory, and you should not over-order. Responses to the contingencies which are not likely to occur and giving unnecessary work to keep the people busy are some other examples of wastes of overproduction. The next waste is overprocessing. It is the least obvious of all the wastes. It is also referred to as gilding the lily, referring to Shakespeare's play where he says that there is no point in gold plating a lily because lily is already beautiful, so no point in gold polishing a lily. It refers to the unneeded steps in the process. Some of the examples in your area could be extra or unnecessary instructions, overwritten emails, memos or reports, filling out additional paperwork that does not improve a service or the timely delivery, completing extra unneeded steps in the process, over-servicing equipment, and creating a process to correct mistakes when mistakes could be eliminated or corrected in the process. Doing more than is required to produce a quality product is an example of wastes of overprocessing. Yet another waste is transportation. Movement and transportation of materials and products other than as part of the value-adding process is waste. Moving a product from one place to another does not add a customer-desired characteristic which the customer perceives as a value. Moving stock or materials from operation to operation is a waste. Repetitive movement of product or materials backdating are all examples of wastes. You can think of some examples from your area. Some other examples could be excessive movements of documents, unnecessary people movement, in-person meeting involving travels when you can do the video meeting, and transporting material within operations multiple times. One of the ways to identify the wastes of movement or transportation is making spaghetti diagram. Here you make a spaghetti diagram clearly indicating how much of transportation waste is involved, and you can identify the areas where most of the movement or transportation is happening, and you can change the layout to reduce this waste. Yet another type of waste is inventory. That is building up extra material at the work site between processes or as an end product. It causes wastes of space, transportation, processing, materials, etc. It is expensive to store, transport, or count, audit, etc. if you have got too much inventory which is not required for processing. It is often used as insurance against shortages because inventory hides problems, because it prevents you from running short of materials. And some other examples would be hoarding, taking more than needed, not returning material, tools, or parts or storage or supply cabinet after use. Some more examples are waiting until sufficient work volume accumulate to begin working, that is batch processing instead of following the continuous flow. Ordering additional parts as a buffer or insurance against the shortages, and not returning the material, tools or parts back to area storage or supply cabinet as I mentioned earlier. So these are some of the examples of inventory. There is a huge river of inventory present in our processes, and usually lot of inventory waste is hidden in this river. Let us take an example of waste of inventory. So here we have got three process steps, step 1, step 2, step 3. And in the first case, in this example, there is no work in process. So there is zero inventory, work in progress, and total number of steps are 3. And total number of units processed is also 3. Actual processing time is 10 minutes for step 1, 10 for 2, and 10 for 3. So total processing time is 30 minutes. Time to process inventory is 0 because there is no work in process inventory. And the total time 1 unit through process or lead time is 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30. You can see that 100% of the steps are value added. There are no value added steps here. But in the second example, we have got some work in process units. So in the first case, there are 5 units before step 1, 5 before 2, and 5 before step 3. So if you take the total work in process units, it is 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1, that is 18. And actual processing time is 10 plus 10 plus 10, that is 30. And time to process inventory is before first step, that is 50, because 10 minutes into 5, which is work in process. Similarly, 50 for process step 2, and just before process step 3, 50, and the total is 150. So total time 1 unit through process or lead time is 50 plus 10 plus 50 plus 10 plus 50 plus 10, which is 180. And 30 divided by 180 is just 17%. So percentage of value added time while moving through the entire process is 17%. Let us come to the next waste, that is waste of motion. Any motion of people, equipment or machinery that does not contribute value to the end product or service is waste of motion. Some of the examples could be a file is misplaced or lost and a person has to take time to look for it. Now here you will also see that there's a lot of overlap between the transportation waste and the movement waste. Movement waste is generally within the facility, within the office premises, and transportation waste refers to transportation across long distances. Some other examples could be face-to-face meetings are scheduled when an email or telephone call would suffice. Workplace is poorly arranged and too many steps have to be taken between the processes. Accounting has to locate several files and databases to prepare a customer invoice. People don't check if anyone needs anything before leaving work area to go to shop or supply room. Wrong tools and equipment brought out to work areas, having to go back again and again for getting the right tools. Motion also refers to bending, reaching, squatting, walking, twisting, etc., sometimes also called ergonomics, when a work site is poorly arranged and too many steps have to be taken between the processes. So these are some of the examples of motion waste, and we should try to reduce it by again using spaghetti diagram and rearranging the workplace. One of the process waste which is present everywhere is waste of waiting. Having to wait for another process to finish before you can do your work. Some of the examples could be waiting to use a tool, equipment, machine or another process to finish, waiting on the paperwork, instructions, schedule, information, etc., waiting for a decision, waiting for parts, help, tools, equipment, repairs, or waiting for a meeting to start because the last meeting is running late. This waste often results from unbalanced cycle times. Means in a continuous flow, if the different process steps are taking different times, then it would often result in waste, because if the times are different, one of the processes will finish the work fast and sometimes the next process has to wait if the previous step is slow. So we need to balance the line. All the steps should be taking almost same times. Some of the examples could be waiting for approvals, waiting for cost estimation before completing design review process, or waiting for inputs. And the last type of waste is waste of intellect, waste of human mind. Means you hire a PhD graduate and assign him some data entry job. So obviously it's a waste of his intelligence. Not involving the person doing the job, the real expert, thereby missing opportunities for improvement, resulting in poor quality and higher costs, is yet another example of waste of human mind. Some other examples are not listening, not acting on ideas for eliminations of waste, or people are giving you suggestions but you are not listening to them. that again is a waste of human mind. Not being able to make decisions about correcting or improving the process or delaying it, that is again waste of human mind. Not providing training, not putting into practice what you have learned, not providing people with knowledge required to do the work. These are again examples of wastes of intellect.